Hey, what's going on, guys? Wait, that's not right. Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today we've got a domination mode battle on the Northern Waters map featuring the Tier 7 premium American battleship USS Massachusetts, and it is being driven by a fellow community contributor, Chili Games 17. You may or may not be familiar with his work, but if you aren't familiar with his work, then what are you doing? Chili is a certified unicum, and you can find a link to his channel in the description of this video. He is certainly a better player than I am, and he is masterful at playing cruisers. But today he is in a battleship. He sent this game to me. I asked him if he had anything he might want me to feature, and this was it. And it is going to be a pretty good game. I do apologize, though, because it's probably showing up in 720p instead of 1080p. To get these videos, I ripped them off of YouTube using the VLC media player. There's a way you can do it. And the actual video on YouTube that he sent me of this game was in 1080p, but for the life of me, I could not get it to download in 1080p. So we're stuck with 720. So I apologize for that, but you all watched my channel for years when I could only do 720p in the videos, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. And besides, this game is quite good. So instantly, Chili is taking up a centralized position on the map in the USS Massachusetts. And there are people like Flamu on the PC who talk about the value of centralized positioning in a battleship. We are going to see a little bit of that demonstrated here as Chili is able to get some broadside shots on some enemy ships out there. Charles Martel seems to be who Chili has set his sights on, and that shot, I think he aimed a little bit too high there. The salvo is probably destined to miss. And no, okay, I was wrong. He aimed perfectly. See, this is why I say Chili is a certified unicum. Even the stuff he is doing that I'm watching right in front of my face, sometimes it's hard to tell. Rear Turret of Justice, the signature move of Chili Games coming into play against this Charles Martel, but unfortunately the RNG gods mess with the dispersion and declare that this shot by the Rear Turret of Justice will be the Rear Turret of Just Miss. Front guns out, though, against the Charles Martel, and if they hit, well, the dispersion doesn't look great. And even though the dispersion didn't look great, well, 2 citadels, and there's Chili's first kill of the game. He's up to 47,000 damage now. A destroyer to the left of the screen was spotted for a while. I believe it was a Fletcher, but that destroyer has gone down, and I think that has given Chili cause to believe that he can push in now with the Massachusetts. He's got an Iowa and another battleship, I think a Sinop, yes, directly in front of him, and then to the right of the screen we've got pretty much the rest of the enemy's entire fleet, I think behind the mountains or the islands inside of the Alpha Cap, which should mean that these guys are not going to have good shots on Chili. And if they don't, that's going to allow him to move up to this next island directly in front of him, put it between himself and the ships on the other side of the map, and then just focus on the Iowa and Sinop in front of him. At least I think that was his goal, but the appearance of the Fletcher has changed plans a little bit. Chili is still moving toward the island, but he launches a salvo at the Fletcher, which does hit and does a significant amount of damage. His secondaries are singing, though, after the Fletcher. 2 hits before that destroyer smokes up. Torpedoes may be a concern, but it looks like the Fletcher launched them elsewhere, so Chili should be safe for now. The Fletcher, having hidden, appears momentarily. No shots available, so continue on toward the islands and toward the Iowa and Sinop. Already taking some fire from the Sinop, but it's largely ineffective due to the Massachusetts being bow on. The Iowa giving what could be an unhealthy amount of broadside, and yes, I would say that is. for almost 10,000 damage there with a couple of penetrations and a single overpen. Certainly not bad, but moving up to this island now, get it between ourselves, or Chili's self, if you will, and the rest of the enemy team so that we can focus on these two battleships, which I think was the plan all along. Now, Iowa or Sinop. Iowa continuing to give an angle, Sinop bow on. The thing about the Sinop is it does have an icebreaker armor scheme, so the armor at the lower part of the bow is thick enough to bounce 16-inch shells. However, there is a part at the top of the bow that is only covered in 25 or 26 millimeter plating, one of those values. In any case, 16-inch shells can overmatch the top of the Sinop's bow, and I think that is going to come into play. The Iowa, evidently frustrated with Chili's bow tanking him, has elected to switch to the HE. Chili fires back with AP, gets a decent result, and his secondaries have now lit a fire on the Sinop, who looks like he's got some incoming torpedoes to worry about, although I don't know whether they will hit. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, near the Alpha Cap, the enemy team, or the rest of the enemy team, aside from this Iowa, Sinop, and wherever that Fletcher is, the rest of them are sailing south, more toward the Bravo Cap, so Chili shouldn't have much of anything to worry about from them if he chooses to push forward. That Bismarck is a bit of a concern, but he's still got the island between himself and the Bismarck, using it to limit the amount of people that can shoot at him. If that island weren't there, then Chili would be in a crossfire. But since the island is there and Chili's making use of it, well, he's limited the number of people who can shoot at him, and that is the goal in a battleship, or at least it's one of the goals. Limit the amount of people who can shoot at you. One of the ways to limit that number of enemies who are capable of inflicting damage to you is to use island cover, and Chili, as a Super Unicum cruiser player, is quite familiar with island cover. Now that he's pushing out, though, he is no longer going to have the island between himself and the North Carolina and Bismarck. I didn't initially notice the North Carolina, but he is there. So I think Chili was going to fire at those two, needs to take them out so that he doesn't have to worry about angling between them. Potentially, he is in a little bit of a crossfire between the Bismarck and North Carolina, but neither of these two seem to have taken notice of him. So if we can just get a nice juicy shot on this North Carolina, remove him from the board, then things might be okay. Looks like the salvo is out, but will it kill the NC? Chili's not even looking in that direction. He gets a Citadel, Confederate, metal, not enough to take out the NC. Secondaries firing at the Sinop directly in front of him, and the Fletcher is still somewhere out here. There he is, 7 kilometers away. Incoming torpedoes, which is not good. They're right in Chili's path. That is going to force him to turn and dodge, or else take a face full of Fletcher torps. Salvo out on the Fletcher, and that is enough to take him out. There is the destroyer gone. Turning away from the torpedoes is necessarily going to force Chili to give broadside to the Sinop and the Iowa, or maybe not. Widespread torpedoes from the Fletcher. Last one there just brushing past the stern of the ship, practically scraping the paint. But because of the widespread, no more turning is necessary, and Chili takes 0 torpedoes from that salvo from the Fletcher. Don't launch those widespread torpedoes. They don't tend to work out too terribly well, as this little sequence just demonstrated. And, of course, things are happening so quickly now that I can barely call them out in time. But Chili did inflict some damage on that Sinop by overmatching him through the top of the nose, and the Sinop is very close now. So Chili's going to have to play this carefully. Angling against both the Sinop and the Iowa. They aren't that far away from each other, so it's not impossible. But we do need to make a turn here as the Sinop comes in for either the ram or the broadside shot. I don't think he has his guns reloaded now, because if he did, I think Chili would be in a world of hurt. But now Chili's got the angle moving past the Sinop. 2 turrets into the armor, which ricochets, but the third takes out a turret and gets 8k. Not too wonderful for the Sinop. Iowa, though, over here, practically we're broadside to him. Got to turn a little bit to port now. in order to tighten up that angle. Of course, turning to port risks the ram from the Iowa. Things are getting hot and heavy now. Chile down to 10,000 hit points. Iowa sailing past, but his turrets, are they going to be able to traverse and keep up with Chile? Doesn't look like they are. The Sinop has been destroyed by a teammate, which is good, so it's only the Iowa we have to worry about. Iowa deciding to turn to starboard, interestingly enough. I guess his rear turret is pointed this way. Chile waiting for an opportunity to get a broadside shot on this Iowa, but the Iowa, he's not going to give up the goods. He's no fool. So, aiming at the superstructure, nice 10, 11, 12, maybe even 13k salvo right into the Iowa superstructure there. Only the rear turret of the Iowa facing Chile. Is he going to make a full turn? No. He's going to continue maintaining the angle. Probably a good idea given his low amount of hit points. And his secondaries are going to pepper the Iowa's superstructure with some nice damage here and there. If they cause a fire, that'd be great. Incoming torpedoes. Looks like the Iowa is taken out by actually the King George getting the yoink on that kill. And just like that, after that rather spectacular sequence of events, Chile has how many kills to his name? 2, and 183,000 damage done. Excellent work so far from Chile Games. Now, the last of the enemy team is somewhere near the Alpha Cap, and both of them are cruisers. So this should be a cakewalk, essentially. Unfortunately, there's going to be a bit of sailing between here and there. So again, I will use this opportunity to plug Chile Games' channel. If you aren't familiar with it, you definitely want to familiarize yourself with it. You can find a link in the description, youtube.com/ChileGames17, I believe is the address. Drop by after this game is over and get him some more subscribers if you are interested in seeing more excellent games like this. But for now, I think we can cut more toward the action. And actually, as we speed up here, I regret to inform you that there really isn't more action to be had in this game as Chile sails across the map here. Basically, there's no way his team can lose this. We got a Suzuya and another cruiser left alive. They're going to do a number on this King George the 5th. But Chile's team at 980 points and quickly approaching 1,000 here. Chile is, in fact, going to end this game with 183,000 damage done, 2 kills, the Confederate medal, and the high caliber. A very excellent game played in the USS Massachusetts, particularly the section Brawling against the Iowa and Sinop. I think you can all agree with me that that was actually some pretty masterful battleship playing. 2,800 base XP, certainly a good, juicy, solid result in the USS Massachusetts. Excellent game, Chile. Thank you for sending this in to me. Thank you guys for watching. Once more, check out Chile Games' channel. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And with that, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.